Now that we are together, do you think our enemy has any chance at all?
Hey guys, it's Azog here again, and welcome to my second tank guide. Johanna is a beefy frontliner and an extremely powerful pick against auto attackers. I really like how she feels in the current meta and enjoy her playstyle. If you look at her health pool, it's actually quite average compared to other warriors, but once you consider her passive 25 physical armor and then do a few calculations, against purely auto attacks, her health pool theoretically becomes third highest in the game after Diablo with full souls and Cho with his 25 activatable armor. Add in her AoE blind, her shield glare, and that's why she feels almost unkillable against auto attackers but on the squishier side against mages. I also like to pick her as a soft counter to two of the other tanks, ETC and Garrosh. Condemn is one of the most reliable Mosh interrupts in the game. Her Iron Skin trait as well, with the unstoppable it gives, allows her to become immune to Mosh entirely, so that she can interrupt it with either her Condemn or her ultimate. And even if she does get stunned out by Mosh, as long as you cast your Condemn beforehand, it will still interrupt it, making it extremely difficult for an ETC to play around. Against Garrosh, the unstoppable from her trait will make sure you can't be thrown for the full 4-second duration. Or, in an even team fight where your team is ready to follow up, it's a great engage for you to get thrown in as Johanna, since the enemy will have to burn through your shield and use a ton of cooldowns to kill you. Or post 20, they won't even be able to kill you at all in a single flip, because you have your indestructible. Another cool tip is she can be used as a counter to Maiev. If you blind Maiev, she will not be able to use her tether on your allies, making it extremely annoying for the Maiev player and making them less impactful. Another reason to choose Johanna in a draft is her fantastic wave clear compared to other tanks. With the bonus damage to minions in her Condemn now baseline, you don't even need to talent into wave clear anymore. This excels on Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen, the high wave clear maps. Also, if your team has a draft that is particularly weak in wave clear, something like Genji Tracer, then slotting in Johanna as your main tank pick might be something to look into so that you aren't being pushed in too hard. Now I will go through her talents. At level 1, I like to choose Hold Your Ground or Laws of Hope, with Laws of Hope being the best overall on this tier. In the past, Joe used to get this talent at level 4, and it provided extremely high passive health regen with a 20% heal. At the moment, you're going to choose this talent for the 30% heal. The passive regen is nice, but quite insignificant with the current numbers. If you look at Joe's trait Untalented, the shield is around 28% of Joe's max health. If you combine that with the 30% healing of Laws of Hope, that's around 58% of Joe's max health that you can activate at a moment's notice to mitigate a ton of burst damage. There are two other reasons for choosing this talent. The first is poke. Having an activatable heal is extremely nice to help top you up and conserve your support's mana. The second reason is during the laning phase. You're going to be clearing a lot as Joe. You're going to cast your Condemn and Punish in the wave, which will put you in range of the enemy hero you're laning against. The heal helps you take better trades and top you up so that you're healthy when you rotate away from lane, let's say for a gank or the next objective. I sometimes take Hold Your Ground. The extra shield it provides is quite low compared to Laws of Hope, at being less than a third of the value, but it provides extra Unstoppable. An extra 30% shield that the enemy team has to burn down before they can CC you can be the difference between Joe getting out or not, especially since she has such low mobility. This talent is really nice against high CC comps. The other important part about this talent is the cooldown reduction. Keep in mind that anytime Joe's Iron Skin is down, she has to play passively and has to be scared of any CC. Having more uptime on her Iron Skin allows her to be in the enemy's face a lot more and creating space for your team. It also makes her trait line up with Garrosh's Wrecking Ball a lot better. Garrosh's Wrecking Ball is 12 seconds, so it makes a difference between Wrecking Ball and Iron Skin 4 seconds rather than 8 seconds. So there's an extra 4-second window where you can be more aggressive versus Garrosh. I don't think much of Reinforce I mean, over the course of a long team fight against slow auto attackers, it's going to provide more value, but since Joe is so innately tanky against auto attackers, that's not what you have to be scared of. You have to be scared of burst damage, which this provides, or high CC, which this provides. I mean, you could pick it against a whole lot of slow auto attackers and be unkillable, but that's rarely going to be the case. Keep in mind there's also going to be fast auto attackers that will just remove the block charges, making this talent useless anyway. At level 4, I only really choose Conviction. Joe's main weakness is her lack of mobility and engage. This makes her Condemn much stronger, and she can gap close enemies much more easily. She can also use Condemn as an escape now. You can proc the movement speed to help run away from enemies. The other two talents I don't think are very valuable. The extra damage from Sin's Expose is quite weak, only 197 at level 20. The other W talent, it doesn't give much value in team fights at all. It can add some wave clear, but in terms of team fights, you would only get 1 or 2 seconds shaved off the Condemn cooldown. The only reason I can see taking this is on Infernal Shrines during the Shrine phase, where you're fighting on top of the shrine with all the minions, and it will reduce the cooldown by quite a lot, but then I would just prefer Conviction anyway. At level 7, the talent choice is situational. By default, I'll pick Blessed Momentum, since the cooldown reduction is great in all situations. Against short-range auto attackers as the main form of their DPS, I'll pick Zealous Glare. Keep in mind that the main value from this talent comes from being able to auto the blinded target, so it's not going to do much against high-range auto attackers like, for example, Hanzo. But against bruisers such as Sonya or Thrall, or short-range assassins like Cassia or Greymane in Worgen form, it's going to get a lot of value and is the go-to. Subdue is the rarest of the talents, and I only usually take this against low mobility squishy backliners or supports. It helps the team gap close and really dive onto those backliners. The quest part you can kind of ignore since you're never really going to hit 4 or more heroes, but if you can get that done, that is extremely good and is a bonus. You're going to want to hit 2 or more heroes at the same time to get the slow, but if they have low mobility backliners, that's going to be pretty easy to get. There's only really one heroic choice for Joe at level 10, and that's Blessed Shield. Pre-10, Joe's initiation is pretty weak, so 10 becomes a huge power spike. She gets her main engage and hard CC, and it's only a 60-second cooldown with moderate damage. Falling Sword isn't good anymore. It used to be niche, but quite strong back before her rework, when it used to do twice as much damage. But now the damage is just too low, and that was the only reason you used to take it. At level 13, there are 3 damage talents, but I only take Blessed Hammer. Holy Fury is a weaker version of Burning Rage, and requires you to hit 3 or more heroes with Condemn for it to be better than Burning Rage, which is not always easy to guarantee in a team fight. Brawl requires you to hit 2 or more heroes with Punish for it to get its true value, and then again, it only just does more damage than Blessed Hammer. How this ability works is when you activate it, a hammer spirals out of Joe, and then a second later, another one spirals out. You're going to want to have both hammers hit on your focus target, which is quite easy. You just need to be in melee range of the target, and that will guarantee both hammers hit, like this. 184 damage, then another 184. And if they're a big enough target, you'll hit a 3rd time for more damage. You're going to want to use this off cooldown for best results. Keep in mind that Shield Glare reduces the cooldown by 8 seconds for each target hit, so if you hit 4 or more heroes with 1 Shield Glare, you'll get an instant reset and you can activate it for even more bonus damage. The other use for this ability is that when you activate it, it can help dismount enemies that are chasing your team, which is, it's hard to always guarantee a hit, but you can most of the time dismount enemies when they're chasing you from quite a long range. Level 16 is another situational talent tier. Holy Renewal is great by default. It gives a large heal per enemy hit by Shield Glare and is great versus casters and auto attackers. But if the enemy team is primarily auto attack damage, then Imposing Presence is going to get more value. The activatable slow is great for helping peel for your allies, and the passive slow is an overall damage reduction. If I'm finding out I'm getting bursted way too quickly and Iron Skin is not helping, I will take Fanaticism. The move speed is incredible and will help you get out of harm's way and avoid CC if you're getting focused and Iron Skin just doesn't seem to be helping you. This talent is also important against heroes with extreme displacement. Heroes like Garrosh, Diablo, Junkrat. I almost always take this to make sure I can reposition during a team fight. At level 20, Indestructible is such a strong Storm talent. Being almost unkillable can buy you those precious seconds to guarantee that kill in a late game team fight. If you're staggering your abilities as well, you can also guarantee you're not going to die when the shield expires. You'll have your Iron Skin and possibly your Laws of Hope to keep you alive. The other ult upgrades aren't really that great. Having 2 extra enemies hit is okay, and the stun duration is nice, but it's not as good as Indestructible. And Heaven's Fury is a really fun talent, but you're not really taking the other ult. Blinded by the Light is okay, and I would only ever take this if I was never ever getting targeted and never got close to dying. But that's rarely the case, that's ever going to happen. Blinded by the Light is an improved version of Storm Shield, but I think Indestructible is just way too good to give up. Now I want to show you a perfect backline engage, just so you can see how much damage Jo can really do all by herself. Keep in mind, this is post health buff Tracer, so she has around 3k HP at level 20. I'm going to use the full combo, Blessed Shield and Blessed Hammer, and then all of her abilities, and show you how much it chunks Tracer. So as you can see, it did about half of her health. She has just less than 1.5k. So as you can imagine, if your teammates were ready to follow up, and you had like a Genji Swift Strike or a Greymane, a few autos, that Tracer would be 100% dead. It just shows you how much damage Jo can dish out with Blessed Hammer, and just how strong her initiation if you get it straight onto the backline. And that's it. Thanks for watching my Johanna guide. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, all of that cool stuff, and give me some feedback. A lot of people have requested more gameplay since my first 2 videos have been more talent oriented. So just remember to give me more feedback and tell me what you want to see in my next content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the Nexus.